Hey YouTube, it's Jamar back from Vegas Sense. I got a brand new comparison video today. In this video, I'm comparing Initio's Oud For Happiness with F.A. Paris' Happiness Oud. And just before I get started, just always want to ask, if you're brand new to the channel, definitely go ahead and leave a like and a comment below. Also, please share the video and subscribe as well. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm going to spray this fragrance on two of these little tester strips that I have here. And we're gonna see just how either close or different these fragrances are. And a really good sprayer on the Happiness Oud fragrance. And then we're going to spray a sample of Oud For Happiness here. Okay. All right, so let's start off with Happiness Oud. Happiness Oud, you get this really, really nice blast of bergamot and ginger. You get a little bit of licorice as well that's sort of in the background. Kind of gives it almost sort of like a balsamic feel. But for the most part, you get bergamot and ginger. Now, with Oud For Happiness, Oud For Happiness is a lot less sweet in the opening. It's a lot more woodier. You do get the ginger in Oud For Happiness, but the ginger is definitely, it's not really the main player. Oud For Happiness more so is sort of balanced in the way that it smells. So it's like a balance of bergamot, woody notes, and ginger, and also the licorice as well. So this one is definitely, like I said, it's more of like a balanced blend, whereas with this one, the Happiness Oud, you get more sweetness from the bergamot, sort of like a sharp kind of piercing, sweet, fruity type of smell. And in my opinion, to my nose, you get a lot more emphasis on the ginger. So this one is definitely a bit more spicier. And I mean, that's the one thing that I've noticed with a lot of, these Middle Eastern clones is a lot of times, even though they'll smell a lot like the, original fragrance, a lot of times their sort of added twist on these is to add some sort of spice to the fragrance, to make it just ever so slightly different. And in this case, in my opinion, I prefer the smell of Happiness Oud over Oud For Happiness. To my nose, with Oud For Happiness, like I said, this one definitely, it smells a lot more woodier. I don't necessarily get like a oud sort of woodiness from it. It's more so kind of like this really light aromatic like cedar note. That's more so what I get from this, even though oud is listed as one of the notes. Like I said, it smells woody, but not necessarily like a oud sort of woody. And even the cedar in this one, the cedar is not very strong at all. It's just sort of there, blended in with everything else. Like I said, with the bergamot, the ginger, the licorice, you also do get that cedar as well. And then even at this point, The Happiness Oud, the main player in this one is definitely still the ginger. The bergamot is starting to die down a little bit, and you're starting to get, more of that licorice in the Happiness Oud. And I would even say that the Happiness Oud, it smells a bit stronger. And I think that's because of that emphasis on the ginger. So really, I think when it comes down to it, it depends on what you like in fragrances or what you don't like. Me personally, I really enjoy the note of ginger in fragrances, especially when it's mixed with like citruses and stuff like that. I really enjoy that. So in my opinion, at least for me, this is a fragrance that I definitely can say that I prefer over the original Oud For Happiness. Now, that may not be the case for everyone. I think that, if you're someone that doesn't really like spicy scents, or if you don't like the note of ginger specifically in fragrances, then this scent definitely won't be for you. But in my opinion, at least the way that this one is done, it definitely, like I said, it has a spicier edge to it. It's a little bit more sweeter, at least in the opening. So I think this one, it does have more of like a sort of mass appealing type of quality to it, that the Oud For Happiness doesn't necessarily have exactly the same anyway. Now, as Oud For Happiness starts to dry down, it does, to my nose, it does start to get a little bit more spicier. The ginger does start to come out a little bit more. But even still, it's still not at the level that Happiness Oud is. Now, after probably about 10 minutes or so, the ginger from Oud For or the ginger in Happiness Oud, I'm sorry, that does start to, die down just a little bit. But even still, it's still, a little bit stronger than the ginger that's, in Oud For Happiness. Now, in terms of, when to wear this particular fragrance, in my opinion, this is pretty much, it's a daytime fragrance, daytime in the spring and summer. And, at least for me, I would prefer to wear something like this outside in the sun. You can definitely wear this, indoors to work. To work especially, because I would say that this one, it doesn't really project super loudly. So I don't think this one would become, cloying or really annoying to people around you unless you just really went crazy with the sprayer. But, probably 4 to 5 sprays, at your workplace, I think that would be perfectly fine. And I don't think it would be, offensive to anyone really. Now, it's a unique scent. But, again, I don't think it's a scent that is necessarily anything that would be offensive to anyone. All right. And in terms of the performance with this one, performance wise, I get about 6.5 hours or so on skin, and a little bit longer on clothes with this one. With the Oud For Happiness, I get about 7.5 hours with that one. So just, slightly a little bit more, and that's on skin. But nothing really, in my opinion, that would justify the price difference. So with the Happiness Oud, I was able to pick this one up on tripletraders.com, I believe, for about $45 or so. With the Oud For Happiness, this one retails for like $380, I believe. I'm pretty sure you can find this one at different discounters or places like eBay for like around maybe $200 or $220 or so. So you can definitely get it for cheaper, but in my opinion, this is definitely not one of those fragrances where you're missing anything by not having the original. Yeah, definitely. Once these sort of dry down, they become within at least about 95%, from each other. And really the only difference is the Oud For Happiness is still just slightly less spicier than the Happiness Oud. And I would say it's slightly more woodier. The sweetness on the Happiness Oud, it does sort of tone down a little bit as it starts to dry down. And it maintains a lot of that ginger. It keeps the licorice for sure. And it does start to become a bit more woodier and muskier, but not as woody, in my opinion, as the Oud For Happiness. All right. So that's my take on these two, man. Like I said, I do definitely prefer the smell of this particular fragrance. It just has more of like a mass appealing, more sort of playful sort of, smell to it. And I mean, again, I'm a sucker for ginger notes and fragrances. So at least for me, that's why I prefer this fragrance. But again, if you prefer woodier fragrances, I would say definitely go for the Oud For Happiness. All right. So let me know, have you smelled both of these fragrances? Let me know if you agree with my assessment of the differences between these two fragrances. And also, again, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That's Jamar from Vegas Sense. I'll see you on the next video.